So where's Susie and how's she been? Well, we're going to answer all those questions in today's video. And for those of you who are new to the channel, Susie is our 1978 Glendale motorhome, and earlier this year she had quite the list of repairs to be done on it. I'm going to be going through what I've done so far, but basically this whole checklist is almost done except for one item. That'll be coming later. However, let's dive right into the video and let me tell you all about it. Let's start with a recap of all the repairs, or most of the repairs that I've done throughout the summertime for some of you that, let's say, may have not seen any of the other videos. And by the way, you guys, don't mind the mess. We're kind of almost getting her ready for winterization here. But we're going to start off with maybe the furnace. Oh, I should also mention I'm going to add the playlist of all of the videos at the end of the comment section so that you guys can see all the repairs that I've done on this machine. So the furnace didn't work exactly very well, so you guys will be able to see that. Now it works fantastic. Part of that repair was to fix some of the wiring that was up here, and I ended up having to lower the thermostat. There was wires, I guess, in the wall at one point, so they ran new wires. I'm not quite sure, maybe these are dead in the wall somewhere. I lowered the thermostat just because when you're in bed, it feels better. You don't get that thermostat or that furnace kicking on and off as much. The other updates that we've done is these LED lights. Rather than using just incandescent, we went and bought a pack of LEDs. They're fantastic. They take very little energy. Under the bench, we have two batteries. I put them in parallel, so they're two 12-volt batteries, and I also have a 3,000 watt inverter there. So that's giving us plenty of power to be able to use our entertainment system that we added. So this is on a full motion mount, and that's actually really cool. Later on, I ended up getting some speakers and a subwoofer that's down below here because I don't want to have it fall from the top when we're traveling. And that adds a little bit of sound in here because these TVs, because they're so thin, there's not much for sound that comes out of them. And that brings us to the hot water, which is now again working. The thermocouple on the hot water tank was not working. You'll be able to see that repair in that playlist I'm talking about. And oh, I decided not to go use this switch for the battery, or sorry, let me get that right. So in the washroom here, again, mind the mess, but this switch runs the fan, which is really convenient, but I thought it would have been more convenient to have this switch run the light, because the light switch is all the way at the back, and at night we figured, well, it might be a bit difficult for the girls to get. However, there's plenty of light in here, even at night. If you get a little bit of moonlight, it's just enough to get in here and do what you got to do if you happen to have to use a washroom. So we're going to keep this as is because, well, I tried to figure out how I was going to do the wiring and without having to repair or rip into these walls. I don't want to do too much damage to this old beast. What else we got? Oh, I did the spark plugs as well. So if we move our way to the front here without tripping over everything here. So I did a full tune-up on this. I did the spark plugs, and you'll see later I still have an issue, but I am going to talk about that. And I also added, for the sake of instrumentation, I added a RPM gauge that is nice and LED, so it's easily visible at night. And that pretty much does it for the recap. So let's go into the updates. Oh, I almost forgot the most important update that we use every time we're in here and everybody loves it is I moved this switch. This is the switch for turning on the water pump. And I moved it to this location all the way from over here. And the main reason for that is, well, it's actually far away from the sink. And the other reason is when we have this bed made, it's impossible to get to. So if you want to make yourself a coffee in the morning, or if you want to just use the water, it was completely inaccessible. So yeah, that was very important. That was one of the first few things I did. Alright, so the update is going to start with the starting. She's been a little bit hard to start lately, especially when she's colder. She's been sitting for any length of time. I mean, even overnight. You go to refire and you got to prime it a bunch of times, and by priming I mean like hitting the accelerator pedal, because this thing is carbureted, so it's got the accelerator pump, and it'll only run on whatever you prime or whatever you inject into that carburetor. I may have found the problem. I'm going to do another check here, but check this out. Right over, let me get in there. Right over there, this little guy. I remember now, when I was working on this a little while back, that I had just taped it off, and I thought to myself, I need to make myself a plug, a proper plug. So the tape is no longer there. So what I did do is I made myself, come back over here, a little plug here, just using some, you know, little hose that fits, and of course a bolt, and I did glue the bolt in place. So let's start by making that repair right now and see if that does anything. So hopefully that's going to prevent a massive vacuum leak, because I figured that's what it is. It might be just that. But the other thing I want to do is I want to check fuel pressure. I'm going to disconnect the line either right here at the filter and then put it into a bucket. I got my lovely assistant inside right now. She's waiting to get the go ahead for turning the key. But before we do that, the other update is, of course, with an older machine, you can expect you're going to get some leaks. So check out this leak over here. I've narrowed down the fact that it's transmission fluid, but it's wet absolutely everywhere in and around this area. That's a fuel pump. It's not from that. It's not fuel. It's definitely transmission oil. So I'm going to have to fire up the pressure washer, give this a good clean, maybe go for a ride and dive underneath it and see what we got. But first we should try and see if we got any fuel pressure. Go ahead. Well, we got lots of fuel pressure, that's for sure. Okay, one more time. Yeah, I'm going to say that the carburetor is not running dry, so hopefully that was all it was. Alright, let's give that engine a bit of a wash and see if we can narrow down that leak. Every time, gotta love this thing. Alright, so it's almost dry down here. I think what we're going to do next is we're going to fire it up and come back down here and check for leaks, but I can tell that there's a whole bunch of connections here that are just using good old mechanical clamps, and it's been my experience that these loosen off over the years. So hopefully it's just something like that, or maybe it's a line that's chafed up against another one, it's cut open. I don't know, but we definitely need to figure out what is up with that. I was just about to fire it up and I suddenly remembered that I was talking earlier about this thing being hard to start, and it stumbles and it's hard to prime and all that stuff. Then I went ahead and I made a repair. But I want to show you what it is, like what it's doing. So I'm pulling this out. I'm going to put it aside here so that if it happens again, we're going to immediately go back out, put that plug in, and hopefully that it's just a vacuum leak that's causing it. But let's see what happens here. So I'm going to prime or pump the fuel. Normally 3 times. She turns over for a short period and fires right up. Let's see here. Oh, come on, girl. What is going on? Okay, so I figured it out, and to no fault of my assistant, I'm going to take responsibility for this, but the battery is completely dead. And let me explain why That's part of the reason why you should check everything when you put everything away. I film these videos, guys. Sometimes it takes me days to get them completed. I do these after work and all that stuff. So my ignition on this thing is quite simple. I mean, you got your on and in your start on the next position. And then if you go back, you've got your accessory. And I got a feeling that, actually I know now, that that's where it was when I got in here. It was all the way at accessory, and that would have killed the battery through doing that. So it's okay. We've got the battery charging right now, and it should be enough power to get it going. So let's see if that does it. It didn't take me very long, so I'm going to give it one pump just because I know there's probably lots in there already. Let's see what happens now. Come on, girl. Maybe it's not enough. 1, 2. Oh no! Come on. Well, this is not the update I was hoping to give you guys. I was actually hoping to show you a repair rather than a breakdown. And here's what I found. It's not the battery. It wasn't left on. I'm actually starting to think that it's actually an internal, sorry, let me get that straight. It's an electrical problem because as soon as I turn the key on right now, everything goes dead. So I got to trace the wires back to, well, I'm going to go right from the battery. They go right to the starter, and then they spider web their way out through across the engine. So I have to narrow that down, guys. It's going to be a long journey. I may take you along with me for a little bit of this, but otherwise. Alright, so I've decided to take you guys along for a little bit of the journey. So here we are now. I've decided to take the starter out because I always thought the starter was an issue. It sometimes clicks, sometimes if it's warm, it won't restart. Turns out I was wrong. Yet again, I've been wrong lately quite often. I don't know. I mean, anyways, here's the proof. So I got my battery. I don't have another battery, guys, so I'm using a booster pack, or sorry, a charger to do this. Got my little lead here. And if I add a little bit of power to the start solenoid here, oh, make me a liar again. Here we go. Minus the sparks from doing that. Starter actually engages really well. Come on. And it doesn't have any weird noises when it's running. If you're going to do this, guys, make sure you're not doing this anywhere near flammable stuff, because you can see a lot of sparks going on. I don't like doing this. I'd rather send it in to somebody to get it tested. Either way, guys, I'm going to give this thing a good cleaning, and I'm starting to narrow down even more, and it may actually be the primary wire or the main wire that goes in from the battery to the back here. And if that's the case, that could cause a lot of problems. I found it. I fixed it, guys. Check this out. I'm pretty disappointed. I should probably edit this out because this is really... I'm disappointed in myself. You have no idea. It should have been the first thing I checked. It was super easy. But I'm tired now. I mean, clearly it's... I don't even know what time it is. It's late. It's dark. But we're going to finish this video because... Anyways, check this out. Alright, so what started off as being what I thought was a bad battery or a dead battery, boosting it wasn't doing anything. Then I thought, hey, maybe my starter's gone because I've been having some issues where it clicks and all this other fun stuff from time to time. So then I went ahead and I replaced this terminal. I don't like these style terminals, but this is what I've got. So I had a new one. I replaced it because the other one was pretty gross looking. And all of that didn't do anything. Then I thought maybe this primary wire was faulty. So then I took booster cables I ran booster cables from the battery directly to the starter on the outside of the machine, of course, underneath on the ground, so I could bypass that wire. To no avail, nothing would work. Then I got the smart idea of putting this, the booster pack. I'm calling this a booster. I'm so tired. I'm calling this a booster pack, but it's a battery charger with a boost capability. So I put the 2 leads right on the starter, and I still couldn't get the starter to turn over. And then finally I decided maybe the ground. Yeah, maybe the ground. It was a stupid ground that was faulty. So I cleaned it up right here because it's got these pinch connections. Again, I don't like these. This is what I've got. I'm going to be definitely looking into something different. And then there was also, you see this little guy over here? I'm not sure what it's actually doing because I don't think it's doing much. But I decided to upgrade it to a larger one because this, this little thing, all mangled as it is, was sandwiched between this bolt, just literally, well, sandwiched like this, and the ground here. And now it works. It works fantastic, actually. It's turning over just fine. I was, as you saw earlier, I turned a key and everything would just go dead. I also followed the ground that goes right down onto the engine, and I gave that a bit of a cleaning. I know it's still kind of nasty in there, but I honestly thought that pressure washing it killed it. I thought, I know she's a dirty girl, but she needs a wash from time to time, and I thought I actually did some damage there with some electrical, but there really isn't much electrical in this thing. Anyways, I'm yapping away here because I'm super happy that it's working. Anyways, let's go back inside and I'll show you what happens without that plug in place. It's literally been hours now, so I'm going to go through the whole initial start procedure by giving it a couple of pumps. I usually give it 3, and usually at that point she'll fire. So she does exactly that. You saw that? She fired, and then she died right away. Normally it continues to run. And now if I don't pump the pedal, and I just turn it over, it just turns over until it just doesn't want to anymore. It'll kill the battery, and nothing will happen. And as you saw, there was plenty of fuel going into that carburetor. I am going to put a pressure gauge on it because I have one. Just really late to do that right now, but what I want to do right now is I want to go plug that, add my little, I think it's in here, yeah, I'm going to go put this back into the carburetor and see if that makes any changes. Okay, so she's all the way on, good connection, that little rubber nub over there. Let's go see if that makes any difference. Just for fun, I'm not going to prime it or pump it. Let's just see what happens with that plug in place. Oh, it almost went there. Okay, just one pump. This ignition has a lock on it. Gotta reset it. Come on, girl. Oh, see, I still don't think that helps. See what I mean, guys? I am not a older carburetor guy on vehicles specialist, if that means anything to you. But this carburetor, I'm pretty sure, needs either an adjustment or another cleaning. And if I just touch her, she doesn't like it. She doesn't want to do anything until she's warm. Oh, come on, girl. Come on, girl. You got this. You got this. Ooh. Oh, okay. She's almost ready here. She's almost ready. So now she'll run, but as soon as I touch the throttle, she'll die off. So I clearly still have some work to do, guys. But I would love for anyone out there to just comment. Tell me what to look for. I'm actually at a loss here. So here's what I've done so far to try and correct that problem of hard starting. So I clearly have just put in a plug to stop any vacuum leaks. And then I did check to make sure the fuel was there. I made sure I have no leaks. We've done the timing together. We've obviously checked that. It's been running much better on the road once it's warm. Here's the thing, it's once it's warm. I am going to double check a bunch of things. So one being my choke, make sure my choke is okay. I am going to check, like I say, fuel pressure. And if there's anything else, guys, that I should probably be checking, again, comment down below. I could really use your help on this one. I don't know these carburetors very well. This thing is, I think it's 6 years older than I am. So I'm learning as I go here. I hope you guys are appreciating the work I'm putting into it and the knowledge that we're sharing together. The other thing I'd like to maybe do is properly adjust the carburetor. I can adjust the carburetor on small engines because that's what I do. But on this big guy, I don't know if it's the same. I'm going to leave it up to here. I'm going to stop the video here, and I'm going to thank you guys for watching. And I'm going to say this has been quite the update. It's kind of a bit of a roller coaster when it comes to an update, if you ask me. But she is alive and well. We are going to use her this weekend. That was the whole premise of this video. And teaser, I am going to be doing some work inside in the future. It's getting late in the season. I don't know if I can do that yet. I might have to wait until spring. But we are in Canada. We're going to have Thanksgiving this weekend. So the plan is to go take her out for a good run and have Thanksgiving in Suzy. So anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next video. And before you go, if you're still sticking around, this is why she doesn't like cold starts. The choke is completely open. It's dead cold outside, and I installed this choke just recently, like this electric choke. I don't know, I guess I got to revisit that, but that is the reason why she doesn't like cold starts.